A man named Saxby Chambliss announced that he is retiring today. As a U.S. Senator, he's up for re-election in 2014, but he is not going to run. He was about to get primaried, challenged from the right, from within his own party. He doesn't say this is why he's quitting, but now he is quitting rather than face that challenge. Now that he is quitting, who's going to be the Republican nominee for that Senate seat in 2014?
When they ask me who's the president of you, Becky, Stan, I'm going to say, you know, I don't know. Do you know?
Herman Cain has run for Senate before in Georgia, but alas, he said today that even though everybody's asking him, he is not going to run for Saxby Chambliss's Senate seat. The other names that floated immediately to the top were this guy.
And all that stuff I was taught about evolution, embryology, Big Bang Theory, all that is lies straight from the pit of hell.
Congressman Paul Brown, he's on the House Science Committee, straight from the pit of hell. He also says he does not know if President Obama is a U.S. citizen. Also on everybody's short list for the Saxby Chambliss Senate seat is this guy, Congressman Phil Gingrey, who says Todd Akin got a bad rap on that whole legitimate rape thing. Todd Akin was pretty much right about that. And rounding out the Georgia Senate shortlist, remember when the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation decided to go after Planned Parenthood and it was a huge disaster for them? The woman whose idea that was, she apparently is also on the Republican shortlist for the Saxby Chambliss Senate seat. So Republicans are looking at maybe choosing among the birther, science is a lie from the pit of hell guy, the guy who says Todd Akin was right about legitimate rape, and the woman who is so anti-abortion, she managed to get a cancer charity in PR trouble. Saxby Chambliss would likely, very likely, have been reelected to this seat if he was running for it again. But instead, one of these guys? Seriously? This is the exact Republican strategic formula that resulted in Democrat Joe Donnelly getting the Indiana Senate seat that had been held by Republican Dick Lugar for 35 years. It's the same formula that got Democrat Claire McCaskill to hold on to her Senate seat in Missouri when nobody thought she could hold on to it. It's the same formula that got Harry Reid to hold on to his seat when nobody thought that he could hold on to his seat that year. And Democrat Chris Coons in Delaware, and Democrat Michael Bennet in Colorado. This is the formula. This is a familiar scenario for a reason, and it is still going on right now in 2013 in the Republican Party. The last Republican presidential nominee did not come to the presidential inauguration this week. Mitt Romney is the first losing presidential candidate since Michael Dukakis in 1989 to not go to the inaugural. He did go to the trouble of leaking to the press that he probably wouldn't even watch the inauguration on TV, which is classy. But Mr. Romney did actually go to Washington today to attend a luncheon in his own honor at the Washington Marriott Hotel. There's a certain awkwardness to this trip, right? I mean, to come to D.C. not for the inauguration, but for something honoring yourself. That perceived ungraciousness, though, is not just a one-way street. There is a certain amount of ungraciousness that honestly is being shown to Mr. Romney right now by his own party. The Republican Party this week has been making a big show of publicly de-Romneyfying themselves, cleansing themselves of all traces of the Romney presidential nomination. Remember the empty chair that Clint Eastwood famously ranted at during prime time at the Republican convention this year? It's now being used as a physical symbol for the Republicans of what went wrong with this presidential nomination. The chairman of the party told the press this week that he keeps that chair in his office. He points it out to reporters as a sign that he's committed to never forget the mistakes of 2012. A Republican strategist telling the Washington Post this week, there is no Romney faction or Romney wing of the Republican Party keeping the flame alive. No one tailors their policies because it was what Romney supported in the 2012 campaign. No one feels like they need to be loyal to the Romney position on any issue. And in the conservative media this week, quote, some Republicans believe the RNC ceded too much control of the party's message to the Romney campaign, which was happy to run the show in the confidence that Romney would soon be elected president. The result was catastrophic. Republicans are even talking about undoing the procedural rules that Mr. Romney established for the delegate process. And they are putting news of that effort out into the press. The Republicans want you to know that they're getting rid of everything Romney. They are taking a hot bleach shower. They are making a very public display of expunging all evidence of his candidacy. Because he, obviously, was the problem with the Republican Party. He must have been. Everything else has been awesome. And that's why they're keeping everything else. The other thing that happened in Republican politics today is that they re-elected Reince Priebus as chairman of the party. Even more amazing, he ran unopposed. So the guy who is in charge of the Republican Party is keeping his job, no question about it, nobody even competing with him. And meanwhile, the purification process of killing off even very conservative Republican incumbents in favor of ever more doctrinaire, further right challengers that are further outside the mainstream, that is claiming new scalps even today. Still, in the United States Senate, with Saxby Chambliss, a guy who in his last election year got an A+ rating from the NRA and a 100% rating from the National Right to Life Committee. He is being forced out. He's not far right enough. Thank goodness they got that Mitt Romney guy out of the way. Now they can go back